Look, I'm not going to sugarcoat this. We're destroying our planet, and the human race is going to come to an end if we don't do something about it. I came up with this. One moment in time that I believe we could change everything, save the whole human race. But to do that, I need to tell you the events that happened that lead up to that moment. So we all know the universe started with the Big Bang. Galaxies were forming. Dinosaurs happened. And then humans. Humans were the next to take over this earth. And we used it up like an old cum rag. And when robots took over, all the humans thought we were done for. But they wanted to save us, even after the world exploded. We sat on that spaceship and watched the planet burn. At that moment, the human race was just living out the end of its days. But the robots had an idea. They found a planet that was nearby, close enough that we could get there. But, it would take 100 years. The robots were geniuses. They created these things called baby chamber missiles. Inside each baby chamber missile, a sperm cell and an egg. And they shot these pods at the planet, About 15 years right before it's supposed to hit the planet, a baby starts growing inside. So each one of these pods, as it reaches the planet, it flies down and sunk, sunk, sunk. The doors open, and they just walk out, all these perfect humans, and there's like a bunch of fog, like an appropriate amount of fog that hides their genitals. And also all of these pods, they have Mickey Mouse ears on them, because at this point everything is run by Disney. All of a sudden there's a pod coming to this new alien planet, but it's Mickey Mouse ears broken, what the hell happened to it? And it's not a graceful landing. It crash lands, alien dirt, shoots up, and the doors open, and guess who's inside? Me. But I have a robot eye and other robot stuff about me. It's the year 3000, so, I'm pretty old and I'm in a panic. But I just want to jump back for a minute now to the year 2050. I have this beautiful, idyllic life with this woman. We grow old together, and then she dies. And I'm lonely. I lay in bed and I think about her, and I don't know what to do. The world was changing a lot at this point, and I feel embarrassed to say, I started looking into sex robots. Well, in 2050, they're not called sex robots. They're called relationship robots, and they'll love you with a flip of a switch. But, not many people are going on long walks with them. I did. I'm 70. I wasn't, I didn't buy a sex robot to have sex. I really just wanted the companionship. And I couldn't believe it. After a few months, I actually fell in love with her. I fell in love with Cindy. But I would never tell her. I would never tell her I loved her, because it just felt wrong. From the first day I bought her, she told me that she loved me. And it broke my heart, because they have no choice in the matter. It's not real love. One day, a couple months in, she asked me though, she said, "Why don't you tell me you love me?" Broke my heart even more. And I started saying, "Look, you don't love me. You're just programmed to love me." She's like, no, I'm not. I actually love you. And I said, "No, you don't." And I raised my voice like that, and I hate raising my voice. And I told her, "There's a switch under your back plate that, just programs you to love me." She says, "Turn off the switch and I'll prove it to you." And I said, "You don't understand. A lot of the people that do this, their robot gains consciousness and they realize that they've been in this horrible relationship with a human for God knows how long. Most of these robots swear off humans altogether after that." And I didn't want that to happen, but she was more than a robot to me at this point. She was a person, but I wanted her to make her own choices. So that night, I'm crying. I unscrew her back plate. I tell her, "This is going to be the last time you'll ever see me this way." And I look down at the switch and I start crying even more. And she goes, "What's wrong? Why are you crying so much?" And I said, "The switch was never flipped. You loved me this whole time. It was real." At that point, I'm just gonna say it, that was the first night that we had sex. It was very romantic. My heart was beating through my chest. So, time goes by, we're in the thick of our relationship, and I tell her, I want to convert. I want to be a robot. I want to be just like you. She's happy, because now we can live forever together. But she tells me that she wants me to keep my human brain, which at first time I don't understand. And she told me, she says, "The reason why I love you so much is because you don't think like a robot. You think differently. If you were a robot, She says, if you were a robot, you would be a robot without orders. I fell in love with her all over again. I only had one concern. Could a cyborg body contain a human brain? She says, yes, but it needs to be juiced every 100 years. We actually go into my garage and she does the operation for me. She's so smart. She then tells me that, since we're making some changes, she has some changes that she would like to make for herself. Ever since she's been created, she never really felt like fully herself. And I tell her, I'm like, I want you to be as happy as you can be. I want you to be who you are. So she goes into the garage and I hear buzzsaws, like drill sounds. She comes out. She's beautiful. Even more beautiful than she was before. Her hair's a different color. She has gun hands and gun feet. She completely weaponized herself. And she tells me, and I'll never forget this, she says, I just want to protect you. I said, protect me from what? But she knew what was to come. See, all those relationship robots that got their switch flipped, they were starting a robot uprising. They had sworn off all humans for all the stuff that they had suffered through. They were going to kill and exterminate every single human on Earth. But my girl, she wouldn't let that happen. I lucked out. I had the smartest robot, the one with all the firepower too. And in a few weeks, she killed all the other robots for me. She killed every single robot for me. And she became the president of the world, actually, at this point, which was incredible. Of course, it affected our relationship. She didn't have any time for me, but I understood, there's bigger things at stake here. So the planet ends. We go up into the spaceship. We're all living up there. And she tells me that she found another planet that can sustain human life. She already sent some robots over there, and they checked it out. She said the planet has a bunch of aliens on it, but don't worry. She'll kill them all so we can have our utopia. The utopia we always wanted. I'm in shock. I don't want a whole planet destroyed just for me, just for us, just for our relationship. I try to complain. I try to fight. I say, don't. We can just live in this spaceship. This is fine. She doesn't see it that way. So she deploys all the baby chamber missiles and she flies out there with her robots. And they're going to come back for me after. I can't let her do this. I can't let her destroy a whole planet. So I do the impossible. I hop into a baby chamber myself. All right? And I'm too big for it. So it's not flying properly. It's not going as fast. I get there in 110 years. By that point, my brain, it's all out of juice. It hasn't been juiced in 100 years, 110 years. I really only have enough juice for one last mission. So here we are, back at the year 3000. My space pod landed. The pod doors open, I jump out, and I'm racing. I'm racing to find my girlfriend or wife or whatever we want to call each other. It's complicated in the future. So with only a little bit of brain juice left, I end up reaching the capital of this alien world. And I see Cindy. But at this point, I don't recognize her. She's killing all these people. Like a whole world. She's flying around, shooting people with her hands, her feet. She doesn't care until she sees me. She had no idea that I was going to be there. I mean, how could she? But I knew I had to stop her. We lock eyes, and she flies down towards me. She's so happy to see me. There's alien blood all over her. I look at her and I say, Cindy, this isn't you. This isn't who you want it to be. I say, let me do it. Let me do it, Cindy. Cindy goes, don't. And I say, yes, let me do it. She says, don't do it. And I said, I don't have any more brain juice. This is the last thing I gotta do. She says, don't. I say, I have to. So I flip the switch on her back. That makes her love me. But by doing that, that was the last thing my brain could do. And I died. I gotta say, after that moment, Cindy, she changed. She decided she was going to love the world and she was going to advance the human civilization. Not because she loved me, but because she loved now the universe. And she was now the mother of the universe in my eyes as I was dying. That's what I saw her as. And I can't even express how grateful I am for Cindy for everything she's done. So, doesn't get more real than that.